What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another Heart Over Height episode. Today, we're going to be taking a look at this Bleacher Report article that states NBA teams that can realistically beat Vegas win projections. So if you do enjoy this content, do me a huge favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, comment down below on what teams you believe can beat it, what teams can't, etc. So let's get right on into this. So it just gives us a few teams. First team up here is the Denver Nuggets. They're projected to win 51.5 games. Now we know the Denver Nuggets themselves are a very good regular season team, last year being 57-25. Of course, they lost a big piece in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, but 51.5 would have put them around the 4th or 5th seed if they would have, like let's say this year they were to win 51.5 and put it into last year's standings, they would have been the 4th or 5th seed. Now, of course, I do kind of see them around this 3rd or 4th area, but I don't know specifically if 51.5 is an unrealistic number to beat. I feel like they could definitely beat that. And I'm actually someone who is very excited about the addition of someone like Russell Westbrook, as Russell Westbrook has proven that he's willing to buy into a role and play into a role that can really help a team succeed, i.e., a star caliber player like himself coming off the bench is something that doesn't happen too often, and he can help them win a lot of games. And even especially with Jamal Murray not necessarily being the most healthy player, you have of course needing that depth, and then that question mark on the Christian Braun and Julius Strawther on whether or not they're going to succeed and if they're ready to play their roles. So next up here, we do have the Golden State Warriors, who are listed at 43.5 wins. Last year, the Golden State Warriors won 46 games, so they're projecting them to be right around the same spot that they were last year, if not outside of that play-in area. Now, me specifically, I don't love the Warriors roster right now. I think that they're a team that can make a move, as in like you see teams that have some disgruntled stars, in the near future, possibly with like the Heat with Jimmy Butler, or, who knows what Phoenix is doing with Kevin Durant and them. But of course, I could see the Warriors, 43.5, they won with a very similar roster to last year. They won 46 wins. They lose Clay. They bring in someone like Buddy Hield. They bring in Kyle Anderson. Those are solid rotational pieces for them. It's just, are they going to be able to make up for what Klay Thompson was bringing to the table? Now, I know a lot of people are negative on Klay Thompson's last season, and it wasn't phenomenal. It wasn't. But I do believe that Jonathan Kuminga is going to take a huge jump here. If this year he isn't getting the role that he's looking for, he needs to demand a trade. But I don't see it as an unrealistic number for the Warriors to beat 43.5. I think that they're going to be right around that mark. I think 44, maybe 45. But yeah, I project them to be around this same area. This 10th, 11th play-in area is where I see them at. Next up here, we have the Los Angeles Clippers at 40.5 wins. Now, this team is tough to gauge on what they're going to be, because, of course, last season they did have Paul George and they won 51 games. But this season, now that we're going into, they're projected to not be as good on paper of a roster. But then you think about, like, Kawhi Leonard, for example, has proven that he can kind of carry a squad to a finals run, as he did it with the Raptors. Yes, the Raptors had a lot more talent on their roster, when Kawhi was on it, than this current roster. But that doesn't mean that Kawhi can't, that would need to be Kawhi flourishing. So they're currently set at 40.5 wins. Last year they won 51.5. Now 40, that's putting you outside the play-in. They're a team I do project to fall. So I don't believe that they're going to be around this 51 area. But, especially teams that are here in the bottom that we expect to take a couple jumps, like Houston, for example. Memphis is looking to take a jump. San Antonio might be taking a jump as well. Those teams, that means that someone's got to fall. And I think the Clippers are that team to fall, as I've discussed in previous videos. They're a team that, you could say they've got Kawhi Leonard. Who knows what we're going to get out of him? How many games is he realistically going to play this year? We've got James Harden, same exact thing. What kind of version of James Harden are we going to get? Then you have pieces like Derrick Jones Jr., who I really like. I think he's a solid player, but more of a championship caliber player that or championship contending team caliber player, not necessarily this team that's seemingly stuck in an organizational spot that they gave up so much draft capital, so they can't use draft capital to make any big splash trades. And then they have a new stadium, so of course they want to sell tickets and win games, so they can't go rebuild. It's just an interesting point for the Clippers. They should try and win games this season, but realistically, are they going to? That's something that is going to be seen. Next up on this list, the Los Angeles Lakers, 43.5 wins. They're a team that's extremely confusing every year. Every year they're put into that championship contending mark by Vegas odds and by commentators and everything, but then they always fall. As in, their 47-35 was their win total last season. This offseason, they didn't make a single move besides re-signing Max Christie. Will that help or hurt them? That's the big question. Does not making a single move actually help the roster because they're going to be able to give another year of cohesion together and everything? Or is that going to hurt them in the long run because they didn't go and, LeBron is up there, past 40. Do you really want to waste time possibly by not going all in right now? Then another thing you look at is they had a bubble season where they won a championship. And then after that, they attempted to make moves by going and getting someone like Russell Westbrook, and it failed dramatically. So by going and getting that big name player, it may not be the best thing for them. Do I believe personally that they can beat 43.5 wins? Yes, because 43.5 wins is outside of the play-in as of last year's standings. I think that especially with what could be LeBron's last season in the league, one of the last few seasons we'll see of LeBron, they're going to make a push. They're going to be at least around the 8th seed. I think that they'll make the playoffs. I think LeBron's going to go out guns blazing. I think that's what we're going to see is a team that's going to go balls to the wall and will beat the projections for them. So yeah, ultimately I do expect them to be above that 43.5 win. I do really like the fact they drafted Dalton Knecht. Who knows what we'll see out of Bronny James, but out of Dalton Knecht specifically, I think that's perfect for him. New head coach JJ Redick. Going to get LeBron to shoot more threes, try and extend the career a little bit, and just extend him in the season because the Lakers always get gassed in the tournament, in the playoffs and everything. They always get gassed and just, because they're always trying to fight back into the games and having to work twice as hard as they should have. And so I think this year we could see a little bit of a different season out of the Lakers, a little bit of a better season, putting them up higher so that they can avoid somewhere around that play-in area. Next up here, the Magic, 47.5 wins. Last season here, the Magic, 47 wins, But yes, I do think that we're going to see another big jump out of Paolo Banchero. Most underrated number one pick. I've said that year in and year out with him. They have the pieces to do it. They brought in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, championship contending piece. They've got a solid Marcus Smart caliber Jalen Suggs right there. Franz Wagner, look, he's a really solid up-and-coming player. And then you got your number one option in Paolo. I think that we're going to see a whole different side of Paolo Banchero this year, as in possible all-NBA caliber talent here. I could see them jumping up to where they're possibly. I know I got a lot of hate on a video where I put the Knicks around the 4th or 5th seed. That's because I believe in the Magic winning games. I think that they're going to do something, during the regular season that we're not going to see. Somebody's got to fall, and I think Milwaukee might be there, and New York I still think is going to be a really good team, and in the playoffs they're going to dominate a lot, but I do see someone like Orlando could win more regular season games. That's all I was saying. Next up here, we have Phoenix at 47.5. Phoenix last season finished at 49 wins, so they're saying that they could go up a couple more wins here. Do I realistically see that? Yes. I think that the Phoenix roster is a lot better this season than it was last season. Bringing in someone like Tyus Jones on such a steal of a contract, I think that's going to be huge for them. They actually now have a legitimate point guard who's going to be able to run the offense, and D-Book, KD, Bradley Beal can just focus on everything else that there is to do with the offense instead of running the offense itself. So I expect them to be a lot better. I could see them creeping up into that 4 slot, just being around that 52 win mark. But yeah, 47.5, I expect them to be a little bit better than that. Last but not least, the San Antonio Spurs at 36.5. Last season, pretty poor, of course, 22-60. Adding guys like Chris Paul, Harrison Barnes, of course, Keldon Johnson another year, Jeremy Sohan another year, as well as Devin Vassell, and then the rookie Stephon Castle. And then who can forget about the number one guy, probably going to be a Defensive Player of the Year this year, in Victor Wembanyama. I expect the San Antonio Spurs to be right around this play-in area, right around that 10-11 mark is going to be perfect for them. I think that 36.5 is something that they can definitely beat with the talent that they currently have on the roster. So, all right, guys, if you did enjoy this video, do me a huge favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, comment down below what you agree with, what you disagree with. I want to know in the comment section. Let's have a full-on discussion. So, it's been another Heart Over Height episode, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.